Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the glorious, blissfully peaceful, alternative United States. We are maxing out our construction queue, expanding tons of industries, and today I'm going to start expanding industries a little bit more intelligently because I have a lot of changes that I'm going to make to the infrastructure of the country. And while we do so, we're going to puppet Canada, and we're also going to conquer Honduras. Yeah, we're going to do both. Because I have to play ahead of time. I can't actually play close to when I release the videos with my daughter and just life stuff. So, unfortunately, I have to play well in advance for this stuff. I don't have time to, like, you know, see your input on which one you'd let it conquer first. I'm going to assume that most people wanted Canada to be puppet more than they wanted Honduras, but we're going to do both anyway. And we're going to start it around somewhere in the vicinity of now. We're going to start it now. Puppet to Canada. Now, I have been reducing my relationship with them for quite some time, damaging relations. Because it was too good to actually puppet them. So now that we're going to say, hey, yes, puppet them, we may have to face Great Britain, but I think you'll find that this is not going to be a problem. All right. So that's where we're going to start. We already have 118-7 on the front line, so that's already a huge advantage, but we can mobilize some people. And I'm going to go into the interest groups, and I'm going to promote some of the generals that are part of the armed forces, going to give them even more political strength. Okay, so we're going to get some really nice promote you too. That's going to just cost me some extra bureaucracy, whatever. It's a very small amount. Let's promote you as well. So we've got a couple of promotions here, and this is just another way to get them to, you know, have more troops that they can command, right? But it also provides that interest group with more political strength. Which is kind of what I want, because if I want to get to professional army, I need these guys to be in power in the United States. Let's check out a really quick look at this. Definitely an alternative history here. As the Communist Party, not only are they in exclusive control of government at this point, but they won by an absolute landslide. Over 81.5% of the votes in the last election. That is quite wild indeed. And the next election is in 1908. So, you know, the 28.2% of the population that's politically inactive better get themselves active. And even if all of them voted this, it wouldn't even put a dent in their lead. So, yeah. Now, just because the Communist Party is in control doesn't mean that this is a communist nation. A lot of our stuff that we have in place is absolutely not communist in its nature. For example, almost every industry is privately owned, and the ones that are not privately owned are publicly traded. So we don't have a whole lot of government intervention. Even the railroads are privately owned, not government run. So it's kind of just Communist Party in name only. That said, I wanted to propose an idea to you guys. We are getting closer to the end of the game, and it's 1906. I think we go to 1936. But to go into technology, you can also tell we're getting close to the end of the game just because our technology tree is starting to get completely, well, done. We only have 3 left in the production tree. Military's got quite a few left, but, like, I mean, we could just blitz through these pretty fast. And military aviation is going on right now. And then Society tab, if we scroll all the way down on the Society tab, we've got, looks like 4 left. That's it. 4 left on the Society tab as well. So we're getting close to the end when it comes to that. That's one way to tell. Now, they're fearful. They have updated the game a little bit and since our last recording, and they've made it more likely that a nation will reach out and try to sway other nations to join to defend them. And they've also made it more likely that nations will intervene and try to defend. So there's a bigger chance that Great Britain will join Canada here. I want Great Britain to see that their help will be meaningless. I want them to see that it will not matter at all. So to help in doing that, I'm going to go ahead and mobilize all generals, I guess. I didn't do that yet. Somehow I didn't do that yet. Yes, go to the front lines, please. Go to the front lines. Apparently, I just decided not to do this. So we're going to take everyone to the front lines. We want to show Great Britain that there is no hope, okay? Show them that even if they come and help, it won't matter. And to do that, we're also going to activate some conscripts in these regions as well. We're just going to go in through these popular regions here with lots of people and say, look, conscripts are active. What are you going to do about it? Our forces be mightier than yours. And that's all we're going to do, to show Canada that we mean business and that they have no chance, even if Great Britain joins them. What we want to see here is we want to see Canada just back down and decide to be puppeted with no violence. That's what we'd like to see. Currently, my infamy stands at 87.4%. Okay? Now, this notoriousness is also causing more radicals to happen. So we're going to see some radicals are joining from this. If I take a look at this, we see... No. Oh, I thought for sure we would see some. I guess I'm just that good. We have also 4,000 people who have become radicalized because they were fired from buildings they had ownership shares of. So that's one thing you have to be careful of. If you make a building publicly traded, right? So let's say I go in and Pennsylvania, the glass works. This is a publicly traded building, all right? Now, if we have this glassworks be publicly traded like it is, and then we decide to switch this building to some other type of production method. Let's say we go down to houseware plastics, right? So from crystal glass. Well, if we do this, it changes the employment on this building. And what might happen, usually when you make a building more efficient, it requires less workers, which means some workers get laid off. And if they had ownership shares and they get laid off on the building in which they had part ownership of, that will radicalize them. You have to be careful of that. I don't want to micromanage most of my main industries anymore. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into buildings, go to urban, go down to glassworks. I'm going to make sure that all glassworks are doing household plastics. This is going to inject a ton of glass into the market, and that's okay. We're also going to do automatic bottle blowers and make sure everyone's on bone china. And then I'm going to say to all glassworks that you can now automatically expand. So they will all be able to... Actually, can't tell. Are you all... You are all set to automatically expand with this on like this, right? I can't tell by that. Here. Yes, auto expand. Find another glasswork somewhere. Here. Auto expand. Okay, yes, so that's how it works. So all the glassworks are set to. It's the same type of workflow to inject tons of glass into the market. Okay, that's good. Next, we want to do the same thing with the industries that are feeding the glass. And so not just feeding glass, but also feeding construction, because we are going to need a lot more of that. So I'm going to take my steel mills. I'm going to go down to electric arc process. This is going to inject a ton of steel into the market. But don't worry. We're going to fix that too. Okay. And we're going to, once again, at this point, tell the steel mills, go ahead and auto expand. Okay. Combustion engine derelicts, tanker cars. Yep. All this. Good. Automatically expand. Okay. And then finally, we're going to do rubber as well. Build the rail transportation, tell it to automatically expand. We're going to do logging camps. These should be producing as much of this stuff as possible using all the most efficient processes, auto expand. Then we're going to go to, I guess, the iron mines. Yep. Make sure everything is on diesel pump. All of the stuff is maxed out, auto expand. And finally, the coal mines as well. Put everyone on diesel pump and auto expand. So what we're doing here is we're basically telling the entire nation of all these different industries that we're going to need to expand construction efficiency, that they are allowed to automatically expand. Okay. And they will do so under certain conditions. Automatic machine gun is done. Very nice. Plastic production. Revolutionizing the industry. All the glassworks get higher throughput. I like it. Okay, good. So Honduras is just sitting here, minding its own business. Canada did back down. So you can see now Canada is a puppet. They are blue. And they are now a puppet of the United States. And there's a truce for this until, looks like... how long? How long is this? 1911, okay? You can annex them in 1911. Then we can go down to diplomatic plays, and we can say, hey, I'd like to conquer you, Honduras. And we'll do the same thing with Honduras that we just did. We'll send everyone, all the armies. We'll just mobilize everyone. right? And we'll just say, hey, go to this very, very small front line and intimidate them and show them that they cannot win, and just tell them to back down, and we'll just take Honduras as well. Now, that's going to be a conquer state play, so we'll get control of that right away. There's many states in Canada, so I couldn't do that. I had to puppet the state, and then I have to annex it. But that's not a big deal. Okay, so we're going to get Canada and Honduras in this video. There's one more place I wanted to get, and I have to be careful of infamy. 98.7 now, so technically they can't cut us down to size yet, but they may be able to later. Military aviation is done. Look at this. War machine industries. Oh, yes, that's what we're going to want. War machine industries. First flight. First heavier than air flight has been achieved. This technology will pave the way for the future of aviation. Never before have we commanded such mastery of the skies. With these bold new developments, the sky is the limit. Look, I'm a bird. Plus 15% prestige. That's going to make us in first place for sure. Okay, let's go ahead and go into our tech tree. And I think I'm actually going to go to production. I was going to do dough rollers to get the automated bakery going, but it looks like they're already kind of started on that. So I think instead we'll go to... let's go down landing craft. Because we're going to have to do some water. We're going to have to board from water very soon here to get opium. Yes, opium. So I think what I'm going to do for opium is we're going to go across the water all the way over through here, and we're going to get into British Raj in this area. And basically, I'm going to try to take Bengal. So we're going to do North and South Bengal. They have a lot of opium available here, right? Like a ton. 939 in South Bengal. It's kind of nuts. North Bengal also has 1,423. So this is great. And, you know, the AI is being really stupid, all right? And I think this is pretty much the theme for the whole game. The AI is actually quite bad. I would like to do another playthrough. Please let me know your thoughts on this. Kind of working up sort of a story for it. But I have a story about an old, long time ago, African warlord who had some very innovative ideas for how his country should be. But, you know, the powers that be didn't want to hear it at the time, and the corruption and these nations of Africa. And he attempted to rise up and overthrow his government, but ultimately failed. And what I'd like to do is I'd like to explore what it would have been like if he hadn't failed, but rather if he had succeeded and then continued to expand in this ideology to attempt to unify Africa. And this is something I think might be kind of an interesting way, because there's a lot of different nations, lots of different types of people all over Africa, and you also have to compete with the great powers coming in to take that region, right? So I'd like to explore that if I could. I'd like to do it on a harder difficulty, and I think I'd like to activate a mod from the Steam Workshop, which I don't know how good it is. Like, I have no experience with this mod, but it claims to make the AI in this game much smarter, so that it manages its own countries and territories a lot better. So what do I mean by that? Well, you saw that a lot of these countries had a lot of turmoil and stuff, right? So they're clearly not managing themselves really well. But just take a look at this, for example. North Bengal, they are only using such a small part of their taxation capacity. The British are losing 87.5% of their taxation here. And these people basically are not paying any taxes at all to Great Britain. If you go over here to South Bengal, it's 85.8% taxation loss, right? 45% taxation loss, 82% taxation loss, right? So like they're not managing their nation very well. All these little territories. And if you go into buildings, you scroll down, they're not even really doing the maximum capacity that they could. These buildings could be a lot more productive, and they're not. Even the railroad is at 0. So they're not really managing their territory very well. And I think this pretty much is reciprocated throughout the entirety of this game and its AI. And so when I see this, and then I look at my numbers here, and I go, yeah, look, I'm dominating. I'm over 3 times second place in GDP. I start to think that's not that big of an achievement in this game, right? 9.48. GDP per capita, which is incredibly low for this time of, like, I don't know, like, maybe they just don't care to be historically accurate, but like in 1906, the GDP of the United States was well over 4 billion, not 732 million. And then, like, with that high of GDP, it absolutely was not $9.41 per capita. That is insanely low GDP per capita. This should be closer to $4,000 per capita. I think it would be closer to, like, I think it was like 4,400 in 1906, right? So, I mean, these numbers are very, very low. This one more so is kind of obnoxiously low compared to what it was in reality. But regardless of that, though, the AI is not doing things well. Like, they're still in turmoil here. It's been a couple of decades, and this entire area is just all in turmoil. So I feel like I feel less accomplished, to be honest, than I would have liked to show. And so I think adding this mod from the workshop and combining this with a higher difficulty and going into Africa and trying to figure that out with a new story. If you're interested in that, I'm going to weigh how many comments are on this video to kind of figure out if that's something you guys want. I'll leave it up to you guys. If you think that that's a cool thing to explore, a cool story to tell, please let me know down in the comments, okay? So, Canada, good. Honduras has chosen violence. Have you chosen violence? You haven't quite gotten anyone on your team, but even if you do, it doesn't matter. So you might just go ahead and fight. You're not going to back down? Says you're pretty worried. Pessimistic. Okay. If that's what you want, then that is what you'll get. If you want the hammer, I'll bring it. And the sickle, apparently, because, you know, Communist Party. Anyway, so we're going to go ahead and take Honduras by force, apparently. I've got a lot of my construction projects are finally starting to get done. Glassworks are all getting themselves upgraded automatically. And the market's probably very weird now because I've done that. So let's just take a look. We have a lot of industries that are discounted heavily now. Oil needs to be improved. Let's take a quick look at Kansas. They can't do anything else to add. They cannot expand anymore. And so it's going to have to be the oil industry in Texas that expands. This is set to auto expand, which is good. I'm going to actually bump it up a couple more levels myself. Transportation is a little bit pricey. I think we can fix that kind of by just changing how certain industries work. So in Tennessee, we could maybe go into the railway and we can say, hey, how about steel passenger carriages, which will add transportation to the market. We can go in and say diesel trains, which will add more transportation to the market and also up the demand for oil. We could do the same thing with a lot of these different industries. We don't have to go into our construction sector to do that. So we just kind of try to manage it that way. And then these are really productive, to be honest. So I'm thinking we can set to auto expand here too if it wants to. You know, obviously it needs to be cash flush before it will do that. But yeah, we'll check that out too. So the reason for doing that and getting all these different industries to expand on their own, so I don't have to manage them, right, is because I'm about to change my construction methods. I'm about to upgrade construction methods to the final, I guess, the end game construction method. And upon doing that, I'm going to discover quite quickly that things are going to get very expensive. So I'm waiting to do that until most of my construction projects are done. But I don't really need to do that because even with all of this stuff going on, I still profit over $500,000. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go to buildings. We go to construction sector. And is it this or is it something else? Maybe it's budget. Yeah, it's budget. So national expenses, construction goods. We're going to click this button. We're going to go to arc welded buildings. It's going to add plus 20 construction. It's going to add more construction efficiency to all states. And it will increase employment for all of those people, as well as add consumption of glass, plus 50 per level. Explosives, plus 50, plus 20 per level. Electricity per level. Tools and steel per level. So this is going to make a lot of stuff very expensive. But once it does, all of those industries are going to auto upgrade themselves because I've told them to do so, because they will be flush with cash. Look at electricity. It is now going to soar. They're going to be flush with cash. So my entire electricity industry We're going to go to, I thought it was urban. Power plants? Power plants, here it is. We're going to say all of you are now coal-fired, and all of you can upgrade on your own, okay? All of you can. So if you ever find yourself really flush with cash, this is how you do it. And we're going to turn everyone to coal-fired really quick, which of course is going to add a big demand for coal. The coal industry has been told also to expand, as they should. Coal mines are right here, and they've also been told an automatic expansion. So this is allowing them to do what they want to do without me needing to do it. I'm hoping that that helps a lot. We're going to use even more engines and more oil with compression engine tractors, and also go down. We don't need to add more grain, though. We have plenty of grain as is. Yeah, I don't need to do that. For the livestock, we can add, this adds more fabric to the market, I guess is fine. And then we can also go into mechanized slaughterhouses, which adds a lot more meat. And electric fences adds more electricity, reduces laborers, yep, and refrigeration. And if you need to, auto expand. There you go. Okay, so I need to let this run for a little bit just to kind of see what that does to the markets, okay? Because there's going to be a lot of places. See, all of these power plants have all just prompted and said, yep, we're going to expand now because they're super profitable, right? They're making a ton of money. And if you're making a ton of money, you're going to be flush with cash, which means now it's time to expand, which is going to bring the price to heel, hopefully. Coal should do the same thing, and the engine industry isn't doing it just yet, but I think I'm going to look into getting that going too. How are we doing with Honduras? Have we convinced them to join our great nation yet? Oh, don't look so surprised, Nicaragua. You're next. American expansionism still coming in, and you guys have rubber, so we're going to get that started. We're going to have you start working that as soon as possible. Guatemala, I'm honestly just going to add all the rubber to the market here. And then your iron mines have already been told to expand automatically, so we'll bring you back down actually like this. And then fishing wharfs. I think fishing wharfs, we can do the same. We can go into fishing wharfs here. So we want everyone to use the steam trawlers. Everyone should be using refrigerated rail cars and expanding as you need to. And, you know, we can do the same thing with the... I don't really think we need bananas. Sugar plantations, we could do the same thing here, I suppose. Just have them auto if they need to. Tobacco, same thing. Auto if you need to. And what else is, like, essential? I mean, honestly, the gold mines should always be expanding as fast as they should. I mean, there's no reason not to for gold mines. So, yep, that too. Is there any gold mine that isn't fully up? Like, let's just do this. All the gold mines should already be maxed out. Yeah, they are. Pretty much, except Colorado. I think Colorado isn't because when I built the gold mines, I only had half that state. Right? Mexico had the other half. And so now that I've added the other half, that's what happened. Okay, we're going to get... let's see, for you guys, what's your industry going to be like? We'll get rubber added to the market. And rubber right now is at a slightly above the market equilibrium price. That's okay. We're going to have lots more demand coming in. And it seems to me like we are rocking and rolling. We're still number 2 in literacy around the world. Belgium, just 0.5% higher than us in literacy. We're going to have to work on that just a little bit. I'd like to be number 1 everywhere. Average current standard of living, we're only number 6. Cuba, of all places, Cuba has a greater average standard of living. And a lot of that has to do with just the fact that there's very little land, so you have very few people to take care of. It's a little easier to do also when you are part of a giant customs union like Spain has. And so since you have Spain to help you out with resources and you have less people to take care of, it should be quite easy. Or at least a lot easier to have a higher standard of living as an average. Where this is a lot of territory. And, you know, since we've recently captured some, we're still going to have plenty of the newly captured areas are going to be in turmoil here. A lot. What's Vermont doing? Vermont is not happy. Vermont? What gives? Why are you not happy? Is it the price of your groceries? Well, how about I expand this for you? How about I expand your food industry a little bit, huh? What else you got here? Let's get your iron mines online because we're going to need iron. Although it is at a discount right now. It's, I think, going to be improved here in a second. Let's go to buildings. I want to go to ports. We can go modern port. So we use a ton of oil. Look at how many convoys we get for this. That is insane. These industries are all going to upgrade to meet this demand. And they're going to have so much more infrastructure on all these ports. It's going to be insane. Like, that is so many steamers to be making too. So I think we'll go ahead and do the modern ports. And then I want to get the industries that have shipyards. If you're not making steamers, you should be, because... Yeah, here we go. 29%. Watch the price of steamers skyrocket. Where is it? Steamers plus 20% now. It's going to just shoot right up to the moon. There it is. So we're going to say that can auto expand. And then I think I'm going to go into my buildings now and say that all of my shipyards... You can use arc weld steel ship, arc welded steamships. This does a lot of stuff, but it's also going to use a lot more electricity. It uses less wood, less hardwood, all those things. I like it. We're going to say extensive military shipbuilding. I think not, actually, because this will end up. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. That's not going to work. That's not going to work because then we're not going to have enough. Well. Yeah, I don't think we'll have enough steamers if I do that. So never mind on that. But I will allow you to all to upgrade as you need. Diesel engines. No. I actually don't want... Oh, darn it. Hang on. Michigan. Automobiles. Okay. And then everyone can upgrade as you need. So this is going to take some time to just sort of let the automated processes work here. Kind of go to town, right? I don't need to... add anything meaningful direct to individual states for their expansion anymore. They're just going to go with the flow. And as long as they're cash flush, they'll expand. If they're not cash flush, then they'll sit there and they'll do the exact needs that they have. And then as prices begin to fluctuate with, quantity demanded going in various different directions with different industries, the ones that are in higher demand will upgrade themselves. Winds of change, sorry. Winds of change. Georgia has come a long way since our attention was first brought to it, going from small houses and scattered farmlands to being on its way to become a blooming metropolis. Yes, Georgia. Georgia loves it. Oh, Georgia loves it. Georgia loves the federal government. Did you hear that, guys? Georgia loves the federal government. The citizens of Georgia love the federal government. Let's go to food industries. We now have automated bakery, which is good. We're going to use a lot more tools, but guess what? The tool industry can expand as needed. So where's the tooling workshops? Right here. Boom. Done. And assembly lines. Done. There we go. Now they will all expand as they need to because they will be flush with cash and everything will just start to balance itself out nationwide, huh? That's how we're going to play this now, okay? So let this run to get all these icons cleared. In fact, even with all this building, 1,400, even with doing that, we can support up to 3,600 construction now. We're still profiting this much. So I think since we're still profiting this much, and we have almost 100 million gold in our cash reserves, I have no justification for having taxes this high. We can go down to very low taxes for everyone now. Yes. In addition to everyone being happy, they are also paying a lot less money in taxes. That's true. Isn't that nice? Oh, isn't it wonderful? Landing craft is done. Twice. Yep. All done. Our infamy is now down to 94. So can we come over here and do this? Like, what? The thing is, if I do this, I'm going to have to fight a lot of people for this. Right? Like, if I say conquer state, I got to fight at least British Raj, which has a lot of soldiers, actually, and Great Britain. So that's a tough fight anyway. It'll give me 32.5 infamy. If I choose to instead make puppet and just do the whole of British Raj to be my puppet, I won't be able to because they're already a subject of another country. So I'm going to have to Yeah, oh, and I can't make puppet unless I haven't declared interest. So we might as well do that too. Let's make sure we declare interest in British Raj. I've also had this comment a lot, and I just wanted to point out that I'll say it in video too, even though I've done this in comments already. You do not need to declare interest in a place to trade with them. So the problems I was having with the trade system, right? You do not need to declare interests in a place to trade with them. For example, I have active trade routes right now in the Atlantic. I have active trade routes with France, the UK, Spain. I have a trade route with a couple of trade routes with Italy already, right? Like I have trade routes with all these guys, and yet my interests are not declared there, right? I don't have interest declared there. So you do not need to do it. Now that said, there are some actions that you do need to declare interest in order to do that. And I guess annexing and puppeting and things is one of them. So I'm just going to go in like this. Make sure my interests are declared there. We'll go in on these two, I suppose. Maybe Japan, why not? And I want to declare interest in this island, which I already have. So that's Hawaii. Done. And I've already done the Caribbean, I think. Yep. And all of Brazil here. And we can maybe declare interest in... You know what? We'll say France as well. How about this? France, Spain. We'll do that, okay? So... we have all those places now, but you don't need to do it in order to trade with them, okay? Now, it looks like the demand for fine art has shot through the roof. That's cool. We're going to go into our buildings. We'll find fine art, arts academies. We're going to change everyone to film, change everyone to independent artists. Maybe not everyone. Say New York is going to be independent artists. Michigan will be the bourgeoisie. Bourgeoisie. I hate this word. Bourgeoisie patronage. That's what it is. Okay. Georgia, you guys can be independent artists. Delaware will go this, and we'll say this is for everybody else. And then we'll just go ahead and expand each one by a couple points just to let your arts industries flourish. California can be independent artists. And then after all that's done, yeah, expand yourself as you need. It's fine. Everyone can just expand as you need. What else? We're using a lot of steel. We know the steel industry is going to be doing really well right now. Glass, same thing. We know it's going to do really well right now. But services, we can keep bringing the price down a lot with services. Let's do electric streetlights first. They'll use less coal and more electricity. And then also motor carriages here. And then I can't expand as needed for urban centers. But... yeah, we can do that with the arms industry, I guess. Same thing with electrics. Pretty much every industry we should be able to do this with now. If you are flush with cash, if you have a lot of money, then expand. Because if you have a ton of money in cash reserves, then clearly your product that you're selling is being sold higher than the market equilibrium price. So we're just going to let that happen. Because we have too many states now. Look at all this. All these guys automatically upgrading right now. We have too many states now to be micromanaging this. So I'm just going to let it go. Let's go with the Dreadnought. I want to actually get really good Navy here. Modern battlefleet tactics. Yeah. We're going to get a killer Navy. Get battleships, aircraft carriers. Oh yeah, let's get the aircrafts going. The duel. Thomas Hendricks has challenged Christopher Geddes to a duel to the death. Hendricks is with the Evangelicals. Christopher Geddes is the Lieutenant General of my military. Wow. Is this random Yankee evangelical social democrat going to defeat Christopher Geddes, my lieutenant general in the Navy, in the Army, I mean? Is he going to be able to just take this out? I feel like this is not... I feel like I shouldn't allow this. Yeah. Should ban dueling. I think I just let him fight. Let's see if Christopher Geddes... See if he... I mean, if he's... Honestly, if he can't win against this dude, this top hat wearing dude, in a duel, maybe he shouldn't be leading my armies in the first place. He did die. Oh, my army general died. Oh, how embarrassing. How embarrassing indeed. All right. New general. Dixie. George Tyrrell. He's brave and he's an explorer and he'll command a lot of army. We also have Hayes and Crocker, but that's rural folk. I want to keep the armed forces clout going up, so let's do that. Another guy in Dixie is John Pershing. We can do that too. It's very nice. And Terrell, he's gonna just get brought in as an upgraded guy anyway, right? He's just getting upgraded already. All right. So I'm pretty sure if I wanted to right now, I could take Alaska. Which, can we just appreciate? I think a lot of Americans don't really take the time to look at this, okay? I think a lot of Americans, when you look at a globe and stuff, you might think Texas is the largest state, right? I mean, maybe not. This might be obvious to maybe a lot of people, but when I was growing up in school, as a very young lad, growing up in school, most of the time when we spent time looking at the United States, we spent time looking at the lower 48. We really didn't spend a whole lot of time looking at Alaska. It's just way over there, right? But when you look at the size of Texas, it's a very large state. There's a lot of going on here. Lots of going on. But I'll stop the zoom on the map. Look, this is Texas. And if you go over to Alaska, this is Alaska. It's enormous. Alaska is a huge state. Just look at the size of it. It's like a third of the size of the continental United States all by itself, right? So Alaska is absolutely the biggest state. And I think most people know this, but there might be some kids that have just kind of, ignored that, like I did when I was younger. Just kind of like, wait, how is Alaska so big? It is. It's really big. There's a lot going on there. All right, so you see the tooling industry? Right, the tooling industry is doing really well. They're able to expand their cash reserves because the price of tools is still high. So, since the price of tools is still high, they can still expand. Oil is very expensive too. Let me double check and make sure my oil industry has been told to expand. Texas. Yeah, you're going up a couple of levels, but I think we need you to expand faster, Texas. I'm afraid we're going to have to accelerate your oil production just a bit here. Let's go up like 15 levels, okay? Chop, chop. 15 levels for Texas. Because Kansas can't expand anymore. And California could, maybe. California has a lot of oil. In real life, too. If you didn't know this, California has a booming oil industry. And it may not be abundantly clear because their oil drills are actually kind of hidden. You can look this up if you haven't heard about this either. And maybe you're, from outside of the United States, you're not paying attention, and that's fine. I don't pay attention to a lot of countries outside the United States either, so I don't anticipate people who live outside to pay attention to us, right? But California, as progressive as it's been known to be, as, forward renewables, aggressively, pro-clean energy as it is, it has a huge oil industry, and it's hidden within its urban environments, right? So take a look at that when you get a chance. Just Google it, and you can see the different types of sort of like, even just buildings. There'll be oil rigs that are kind of hidden as structures in the city, and you won't even know they're there, but they're drilling oil. So check that out. It's pretty funny, actually, once you figure that out. You're just kind of like, oh, wow, that's a cool, clever way to just hide the fact that you have tons of oil. So yeah, California has a bunch. I'm gonna go, and they're very productive right now in the game anyway, so let's go ahead and expand a little bit more on this too. So this gives us the 60. This will max out the oil industry in California. We still have loads more oil that I could get from Texas. And man, the game is really getting slow now. I think we're getting to the point here where it's calculating too many things. Shipyards. Steamers are very inexpensive. So what we'll do now is we'll go into our trade routes and we'll say, excuse me, but I'd like to sell you my steamers. Who would like to buy my steamers? Steamer. Man of Wars, no thanks. Steamer. Maybe engines. We could sell some of those. Sell them to the British. That's fine. Clippers, no. Artillery. We can sell that to... I certainly don't want to sell my weapons to the Russians. I'm about to go to war with them, so no thanks. Let's go ahead and sell any excess ironclads we may have to the Italians. That's good. Steamers. We can sell those to the Portuguese. There we go. And maybe the Parakin as well. Who else can we sell? What else can we sell? Telephones? Not a whole lot of need for that around the world, unfortunately. How about our wine? Oh, we can definitely outsource wine. Austrians really want our wine, so do the Spanish. And that's going to create a big boom for our wining industry. So we're going to want to go in and make sure that our wining industry, yes, our wining industry is also very good. So I think we will go in and say, excuse me, everyone. Have your attention, please. It is now time to make lots and lots of wine in all of our maize farms. Please make more wine. Go. And we will have them all make wine, and the whole world will love it as we allow them to expand on their own as they need to for the wine. Okay. Excellent. Gold fields are depleted in Zacatecas. So not this one, it's this one. Now, you got gold fields. When they get depleted, they become mines. So let's make sure that those mines are operational as well. And you're obviously already expanding your iron mines. That's good. Bringing the price of iron down. Oil is the last big thing that needs to be brought down as far as price goes. I guess transportation as well. But transportation I'm going to selectively upgrade because transportation is this, market access. And so certain states will need to maintain market access, and so I can upgrade it in certain spots just to be more efficient with those resources. And then also ports. I guess I can get another port going over here somewhere too, but I think the railway is more important. Honduras, you should have a railway as well, shouldn't you? All of you guys should have railways. Make sure that you all have railways. Yes, 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 indeed. Honduras, there you get your... I did get your rubber plantations going. Sure did. And rubber is a decent price. Good. All right. So I think we're done here. We did a good job today. Yeah, I'm not really ready to go to war with Russia yet. So we're going to try to do that next time. And the election is this year. I do hope that the armed forces and the other political groups can find a way to overcome the dominance that is this Communist Party. So that I can go in and make myself have a professional army, and then I will be completely set on that. But in the meantime, while we do have the trade unions in power, I guess I could go and get old age pensions started. I mean, I could. Yeah? I think, yeah. I could get old age pension going, and this will... Worker protections actually maybe even is a good thing. What about labor rights? We could go worker protections as well. For labor rights, this will increase the minimum wage and then reduce dangerous work conditions. Yeah, it's basically minimum wage. So I think we'll try this since we have the Communist Party in power. You know, the trade unions are there. We might as well work on worker protections there and just, you know, solidifying a living working wage for all. In that sense. Okay? Because I'm like, honestly, we've got so much surplus here. I don't even know what to do with it. There's no way I can even spend this much money now. And the budget, I mean, I guess I could reduce. The only way I could do this is if I change the taxation policy, right? Like, I wonder if there's a law where I can just say no taxes. Is that a thing? Per capita taxation, graduated tax. I mean, per capita taxation is probably the lowest. I would lose 303. So my predicted revenue here, it would be 756K, where I'm currently making $1 million. So I can't not collect taxes. Ooh, but land-based taxation would be, yeah, this one right here, consumption-based taxation. This would be the lowest. This is the lowest tax rate I could possibly do, is just give up tax revenue entirely. Oh, I'm not going to do that because I have an army to raise. All right, that's going to do it for me, guys. Thanks so much for watching. I appreciate you. Check out the market as we go. Like the video if you like it. Subscribe if you haven't already. Loads of things at deep discount here. Oil's going to get under control. And transportation's going to get under control. Everything's going to be below pricing very soon. Nothing's going to be too expensive, except of course for opium. And we're going to look at that, I think, next. We're going to look at opium next, once I can get a good amount of army moving up in the world here, okay? Take it easy. We'll see ya. Bye-bye.